Hello and welcome to the second part of letter writing. In this case, we'll be looking at an official letter. So, one thing you have to know before we start is that an official letter will follow the same format for all levels, be it A1, A2, or the highest level, that is C2 of German. The letter format, the letter style is the same for all levels. What changes is the number of words that you might be expected to put down. Hello and welcome to Ein Offizieller Brief. So, there are a few things that you have to know about an official letter. So this letter will be also a formal letter. So either someone can say official letter or a formal letter. And it's mainly addressed to officers, strangers, and people we may have to respect. Of course, we know them, but we have to respect them. And then in this case, now instead of using the do form, will be major or the Z form, which can be in accusative or dative, depending with the verbs that we are going to be looking at. So we may not dive much into dative or accusative, but just know that this type of letter uses this Z form, not do form. Let's now discuss how we can go about the heading part of this letter. This is as far as the exam is based. In this case, we're going to also identify the person that we are writing to. If we know nobody in particular, we'll start with sehr geehrte Damen und Herren. That will be dear sir or madam. Or we can simply go to sehr geehrte if we know the gender to which we are writing to. So we'll say sehr geehrter Er. We may not know their name, but we may know their gender. So in this case, we say dear sir. Again, the same will be to the other gender. We know that they are female, but we don't know their name. So we'll say sehr geehrte Frau, dear madam, because we are referring to the person that we know their gender, but the only thing that we don't know at this time and hour or level or at the time of writing is their name. However, in the case that we know the names of these two people, if they are male, we'll say sehr geehrter Herr Paul, dear Mr. Paul. Remember, this is an official letter, so it changes from the formal idea. If the person we're writing to is a female, but yet we know their name, we'll say sehr geehrte Frau Paul. Let's assume that they are both called Paul. But the names that we usually use in this case are the last names of these people. So you can say familiar name. So we use the familiar name of these individuals. For example, Herr Paul in this case will be that this person's last name is Paul, but then there's the first and middle name that is coming in at hand. We have the body, we don't have the body at this moment, but at least we know the people that we are writing to, or we may not know them at all. So, immediately after writing dear so-and-so, underneath it without skipping any line, we'll bring the subject, the first statement or our first sentence, which must at this time start with a small letter. For example, ich schreibe Ihnen. Remember, we're using the do, not the, we're using the Z form because this is someone that we don't know, a stranger in this case, or someone that we know but we have to respect. That means we don't know them quite well. So we'll start with ich schreibe Ihnen, einigen oder Anfrage mitzuteilen. Wir würden uns. Then you'll continue based on this instruction that you might have been given at that time that you'll be writing this paper. Remember, your first statement will fall immediately underneath the word dear so and so. In this case, sehr geehrte Damen und Herren oder sehr geehrter Herr oder Frau so and so. I have salutation, I have the body of the letter, but then I want to conclude. In this part, there are several ways that we can conclude. But again, in concluding, after writing everything, there are no lines that are supposed to be skipped in this letter. That means everything has to fall in place. We only need to do something without skipping a line. So after we've written the body and everything is there as required by the examiner or the exams that we'll be doing, depending on the question that we might have, underneath whatever we'll have written, almost immediately without skipping a line, and remember everything has to fall on the same margin. It's not like English or any other language. So in this case we might finish with mit freundlichen Grüßen, then your name, freundliche Grüße, then your name, herzliche Grüßen, then your name, oder viele Grüße, then your name. I've used several names like Barack Obama, Walter, Joe, and Maria Bani, for example. But just remember, you'll finish with the word mit freundlicher Grüße. In this case, if you have to translate any of these, they might come out as yours faithful or the yours sincerely. Yeah. So, mit freundlicher Grüßen, then immediately underneath it, you write your name. Remember that when you write your name, you have to now give your two names. That is your first and middle name, not your surname. Again, full stop must not be included when finishing this letter. In summary, or to summarize, here is an example. So we said that you have to write this letter in the Z form, and again when finishing there are things that you have to do. So here's an example. It says sehr geehrter Herr Biden. That means that we know the person that we are writing to. So we are writing to Biden. In this case, Joe Biden was maybe the subject that we were given in the form of an instruction that we had to follow. So I'll start by saying sehr geehrter Herr Biden. Ich schreibe Ihnen, Anfrage mitzuteilen. Wir würden uns freuen, wenn Sie alles berücksichtigen konnten. Bitte lassen Sie uns wissen, ob weitere Informationen benötigt werden oder ob ein Termin für ein persönliches Gespräch erforderlich ist. Mit freundlichen Grüßen, Barack Obama. To finalize everything, just remember the things that you have said when working in this kind of type of letter. It is important also to try and use your vouchers wisely, because when you go about the vouchers, these are the vocabularies in Dutch. They will help you build more on what you want to write, such that instead of running out of words, you might end up writing more than is needed. But remember, always check on the number of words needed for any given letter. See you on the next one.